How we feeling?
What a Sunday morning. We're probably not feeling as good as Drake.
Saturday app. Oh,
Drake had a great weekend.
it's probably just.
Does that happen, or do we just get the pictures this weekend? Do we know?
I think it was this weekend.
Well, I guess the headline there is Drake raised the bar for everyone.
He raised the bar for
the ultra rich.
This is probably this is light for Drake. I mean, this is a dude that was remember in the
That
I'm
is
upset.
so funny.
I'm saying this is light for Drake because remember in the I'm Upset video and he woke up in the Toronto
Toronto
Raptor.
Yeah.
So like it is a regular
I guess
Friday
people
evening.
found out that Drake was on a date in a completely empty Dodger Stadium because someone who worked at ABC 7 News in Los Angeles was just flying their drone and just saw them there. Him and his date.
That's like insane.
I think he noticed it too because he was
Yeah,
like, in
they were
one of the
looking
pictures,
at
he was
it.
like looking up.
They were looking
Yeah.
at it.
So if you're unaware of what this is, Drake apparently is courting or dating the mother of Amari Bailey, who is a high school basketball player, I believe. He was like really good. Plays
Yes.
with Bronny Jr.
UCLA commit.
UCLA commit, yeah. And we've seen pictures of Drake at some of their basketball games, and at least I thought he was just there rooting on LeBron's kid. I didn't realize there's an ulterior motive going on.
There's an ulterior motive.
But imagine going through all these lanes to to get privacy, and making a substantial donation, as they put it in this article, to the Dodgers Foundation to get a date there. And then a random drone still finds you.
Some journalist
exposes
just finds you.
It's so crazy because they was probably just doing testing it, just playing around with it and everything like that. Because I remember when I was
is that Drake?
Yeah, it's so crazy because when I was there, we used to just at a news station back in my old days. I remember we'd go out and just play with drones and just go places. And this dude's probably like, "Yo, wait, what?" And in this picture, Drake's smiling like, "Oh shoot, they see us."
He's smiling, but if you watch the video, I could not find one part where he was smiling. They just kept looking at it like, "Man, you leave us
He was
alone."
probably pissed. He was probably like, "This was not supposed to be."
No. Drake knew exactly what he was doing. He needed to stop it. Drake knew.
I'm sorry. A random drone. Now, I don't think Drake wanted people necessarily to know this was
I don't know.
happening.
I feel like this was
Even for Drake, I don't think
he's Drake at the Dodger Stadium.
Okay,
Come on now.
Drake doesn't do this. Drake isn't the guy who flexes and posts his pictures of the woman he's talking to and actively does that. I don't see
for
Drake
sure
setting this up for a PR scene.
Oh no, I'm not saying
he definitely keeps the women he's talking to
First of all,
I don't think he wanted people to know.
He don't put it out there.
Maybe he put it in a video where he recreated the scene, but
I don't think he puts it out there. But I think people know. I think he's always out. He's Drake. He's the biggest artist in the world, and people know.
Yeah.
Drake. First of all, this is not the first time Drake has done this. Go to sporting events for women. We know Drake.
Also, the Amari Bailey was posting Instagram pictures the day that this came out, and all his whole comments were just, "Drake's your stepdad now," or "How's it feel to have Drake as your stepdad?" I feel bad for him. It's kind of funny, but I feel bad for him.
Honestly, he's probably used to it.
That's a flex. What do you mean? The comments are talking about Drake is your stepdad. I'm like, look, we gotta pick somebody to take over the job. Drake's not a bad option.
I think he's used to it. I don't think he's tripping, honestly. He's probably like, man, I don't care.
It's just funny.
But I'm sure he also was like, dang, I didn't think these pictures were gonna be of my mom dating Drake were gonna leak out to the internet. Well, there you have it. So that's what Drake's doing. Welcome to the 97 Demo Podcast, where we give you the latest in music news, updates with Drake's dating life, and more along the way.
You're funny.
Nnamdi.
I'm Noah.
Avery.
We just for a couple of weeks we really killed that part of this, and now it's
early.
It's the fact that you acknowledge it. We don't have to acknowledge it. If we just let it go,
acknowledge it, because that's how we'll get better from shaming us on our on our own podcast. But this is one headline. So the saga of rappers getting arrested in Europe continues. Lil Baby being the latest. Apparently, him and James Harden were in Paris. I don't really know what they were doing. They were there.
Paris Fashion Week.
Paris Fashion Week. Okay. So they were attending Paris Fashion Week. And him and James Harden and Lil Baby were apprehended by the police. James Harden was not arrested. Only Lil Baby was, apparently because he had they found drugs in the glove compartment of his car. So yeah, that happened. I think he released from jail. Just has to pay a fine.
The pictures of the two of them are pretty funny.
They were funny. Did you see the video of like when the Paris paparazzi are on him?
He was like,
the baby.
Yeah.
The baby. Man, this is just, man. Do you think these rappers are a target just because they're just rappers? Sometimes you think.
I mean,
I think they are. Sometimes.
I mean, probably. I mean, they're. I don't know.
I'm not saying they don't deserve to be arrested or anything. I'm not defending these rappers or anything like that. I'm just saying, like,
I will answer that and say, while that could be true, I also think rappers may be more bold because they're rappers.
True too.
I mean, they may think they could get away with
get away with anything.
Because they found, like, I'm pretty sure it's like a significant amount of weed. Like, I don't think it was.
It was a lot.
Plus, if something like Paris Fashion Week is happening, the police are probably going to be like looking out for certain things.
Yeah, for sure.
All the high profile guests that are coming in.
I wonder how they found them. Like, I wonder if they were just
it says it right
car.
Here. Right here.
They checked the vehicle that smelled like cannabis around 4:30 p.m. Later, police shared the video on Twitter and said the search of the vehicle was justified. Okay, so I'm not really cool with that because so they just smelled it coming from a car and they were like, "Oh, we gonna search this?"
Damn, weed ain't legal in France.
It's not legal, but it's like, don't search my car.
That is a lot, dude. It's like it smells like
it's
like
a ton. Like, who cares?
But I think low-key that's how it is in the U.S. too. Like, if they smell it coming from your car, because that's still a DUI. Like they can, well, at least Lil Baby's fine. This isn't like an ASAP Sweden situation where the president has to get involved.
Good point. I still haven't watched that documentary on that. Watch that.
Yeah, this next thing we still haven't. I don't think we've talked about Britney Spears' conservatorship thing on this podcast, which is sort of interesting because it's like a really big music story and news story, and like it just seems up our alley. But for those of you who haven't been following this, apparently since her public breakdown in 2008, Britney Spears has been in a conservatorship, which means she does not have legal guardianship of herself or control of any part of her own being. For a long time, both control of her estate and her person what belonged to her father, Jamie Spears. So that meant that any decision regarding Britney Spears, from like when she toured, how much money she made, to who she dated, who her friends were, to what colors her wall would be, to what food she could eat, like all of that was made by her father. That ended up changing to being like her father still controls the estate, but they brought in someone else named Jody Montgomery to control Britney's person. Right now, those two are actually sparring because they don't like each other, with one saying that the other is responsible for Britney not enjoying the conservatorship. And now, I guess this is a story I'm just saying, but I guess they've now discovered that Britney Spears' father has spent $2 million of her funds to remain her conservator. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's maybe legal fees, like in court cases and all that stuff.
Random question. So Britney Spears has a sister named Jamie Lynn Spears, and then her dad's named Jamie.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Whenever they talk about the sister, they always
Jamie Lynn.
Jamie Lynn. Yeah.
Got you. That's wild.
Who apparently also said, because they were accusing Jamie Lynn of being a part of this and taking some of her money, and Jamie Lynn flat back and sort of said, "I am the only person in this family not on her payroll, so y'all need to look the other way."
Ooh.
Yeah, but because the conservator like also controls all of Britney's money, they probably he probably used her money to
absolutely
some of his legal fees. So
absolutely, absolutely did. He was like, this is really unfortunate for Britney Spears. I feel really bad for her.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I didn't know this. Sorry, no, I did. I read something and I just.
No, go ahead.
You were talking.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Britney Spears, like on June 23rd, it was a whole bombshell thing where like she testified at a court hearing and like did a 20-minute rant about why she hated this conservatorship, which was like big. And this is apparently saying, this is like the interesting thing. Britney doesn't necessarily want the conservatorship to end. She just doesn't want her father to be involved in it. And I think that gets lost in a lot of the reporting on this. Like she still wants someone to be able to have a say in it or help her live life, which I think is interesting. She just does not want her father to be the person whose job that is, which is understandable.
Absolutely. Who wants their dad to be their conservator? Come on now. Nah, for real. Nah. You're right. That is kind of wild. And Britney Spears has been going through it like publicly in terms of like everything that's going on with the documentary and all the like things that came out. That was like all this year, you know. But I feel like she always has like something going on. Unfortunately, not like in a bad way, but
yeah. Well, shout out Britney. I guess we'll follow this because I think there's gonna be more updates.
Yeah.
It continues.
Yeah.
Literally a nightmare scenario. Imagine your dad having control of every aspect of your life.
Literally everything.
Literally.
And yeah, this one's kind of, you know, right now in rap, we need to have some kind of like awakening, I think.
No, the whole Hollywood, whole
Hollywood, but I mean, I say rap specific. I don't want to all lives matter this. I say rap specifically because this happens often in rap, and yet these artists still have careers. Like I think there needs to be a reckoning specifically within that genre. Basically, Brittany Byrd, who is Lil Uzi's ex-girlfriend, says that apparently sometime over the 4th of July weekend, there was an altercation that results from Lil Uzi like punching her in the stomach, face several times, and then putting a gun to both her stomach and chest.
Yeah, and this Lil Uzi's ex-girlfriend, not his current girlfriend.
Yeah, I said ex.
Okay.
And like I guess she was there with St. John too.
She was there with St. John. I don't really, and apparently they're working on music, so I don't know what this happened, but Britney Bird's manager is saying Lil Uzi stalks her and was toxic and is abusive. And, you know, she's filing a police report, and I don't know, after seeing the whole Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion debacle, apparently all the Twitter lawyers need actual police reports before believing a woman's claims. But yeah, this is sort of ridiculous and like horrible.
Yeah, the manager also said that Uzi's been like stalking her after they broke up.
Yeah.
So the story's just messed up.
Yeah, yeah, this is really unfortunate considering, and yeah, these Twitter lawyers are like, I'm not believing until police report. You know, people want to believe the police when it's convenient for them.
It's because when there's an artist you like, you try to rationalize their behavior, and like you shouldn't. You should be able to hold them accountable, you know.
Or believe you know, the artist or, you know, the victim when they should, whatever. Yeah, this is really unfortunate. I hope it's not true for both what's her name exactly? What's her name? Brittany Byrd. Yeah. I recognize her from all like the covers of Lil Uzi's mixtapes with the girl with the pink hair. That was like he was rapping about and stuff like that. So, and that was his girl for a long time. So this is really unfortunate that's going on. I mean, there's nothing really to say. I'm just like, it's crazy you say that, but my first reaction is just to believe her, because like, you know, most of the time it's just like
why would she lie?
Why would she lie? You know what I'm saying?
There's multiple witnesses. This isn't even a matter of believer. This happened. Like this isn't even a matter of we should believe. There's multiple accounts of this. She's filing a police report. St. John was there, and I'm pretty sure he sort of spoken out about the situation. Like this is it's
what's going on here?
And then even if I'm JT, I'm wondering, like, any dude who can get mad enough to like punch his ex multiple times and put a gun to her stomach, what does that mean for me as the current girlfriend?
There's a history.
Red flags no longer exist. But we have this issue where a lot of people operate with the mindset of separate art from the music. I mean, separate the musician from the music. And I just don't believe that. I think in these days it's hard. You can't really do that.
It's a hard thing to do.
Like this.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do.
Where these artists are more like becoming personalities, and you're not just invested in the music, you're invested in who they are. As like everything they do outside of music, like you can't say that.
Exactly. These artists are more open than ever. You know,
I feel like we can't care about Lil Uzi putting a stone in his forehead and not care about this.
Well, I like that point, because like these artists, we can interact and basically whenever on social media. Like literally, they can see what we're saying whenever we want. We have access to them like crazy. Like I'm not like an old age, but obviously like back in the day, these people don't interact with their favorite artists and they think of him as like a god, and then they're like, oh my goodness, these people are more personal. We know they're flawed. We know they're not perfect. But then it's crazy when stuff like this comes out. We try to rationalize their behavior. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a weird game we're playing
like
as fans.
It's sad because even though I didn't like Lil Uzi's last album, I've been liking some of his songs, but now this sort of puts him in the camp of like Tory Lanez and Chris Brown for me, where until I don't say this to say like no one can make a mistake or no one's worth redemption, but like you have to get there, you have to at least be willing to hold yourself accountable, and none of the artists have done this. None of them.
Exactly.
None of them.
And you know who actually has crap? Oh man, who's the crap? Who? There's an artist. I forgot his name. It's gonna come to my Vic Mensa. He talks about this all the time. He literally talks about literally I was abusive and all that and everything, but he's like I was trash and all that. Royce the Five, they talk about it, and they're like they hold themselves accountable, and then they say other people are trash too. Yeah, I agree with you, Nnamdi.
Yeah. Well, so I wish we had a better transition to new releases, but there was a lot of good music, so maybe that's the transition on its own. We got a Snow Allegra album, which one I know we didn't talk about. We've done a lot of reviews. I've listened to like part of that album. Big fan. We also got Vince Staples' self-titled album. IDK put out an album, and then we got a lot of singles. Billie Eilish put out a new song. Bia had a remix with Nicki Minaj. So and then of course the Jackie, Boz, J. Cole, Lil TJ, which I'm sure we'll get into. What did you guys listen to? Go off.
What I listened to them. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. There was the Snow Allegra and IDK. Those were on the like longer side of albums, even though they're not long at all. They're like 40 minutes. I listened to most of Snow Allegra's project. Like half of it, so I haven't got through the whole thing yet, but I plan on it. And
what do you consider a short album?
No, I said between these these releases, the Snow Allegra and IDK were the longer side, on longer side compared to like the other two, because Vince Staples was 22 minutes, Alpha was like 35 minutes. It's but I said it wasn't long, like a long hour long album. They were all nicely timed albums. But Vince Staples' self-titled album, I really enjoyed that. All produced by Kenny Beats. He killed it. And this Charlotte Day Wilson album. I know everybody loves this Snow Allegra, but this girl, Charlotte Day Wilson, it's an R&B album.
Related to Charlie Wilson?
No, she's white. No, she is Caucasian.
It's possible.
She is incredible. I know everybody hyping up Snow Allegra, but this girl might also have one of the best R&B albums this year. She was on Kayshonada's album Bubba. James Blake has sampled her before. Her music was in Euphoria. So if you guys get a chance, check out Alpha by Charlotte Day Wilson. It's a great album. Check it out.
Never mind.
What?
No, I can't. I'm not going to say it on the podcast. I'll say it post-pod comment.
What the heck
Avery, what about you? What do you listen to?
This Vince Staples album was really good. It's funny. I was listening to this Bass and J. Cole song. And it ended, and so like after the song ends on Spotify, it starts like showing you random music from that artist. Well, I thought I queued up the Vince Staples album afterwards, and the first song played, and I thought I was still listening to Boss.
That's really funny.
Because it was not what I expected from Vince Staples. At least initially.
Let me say, this Vince Staples album is kind of fire. It's really not even kind of like that album. There is a lot of good rap music coming out, and I'm very excited for the second half of the year because clearly people have just been saving their stuff. I love that. This album has been on repeat for me. I consider making it project of the week, but I've noticed we don't really do new releases as project of the week, so I didn't want to.
I've tried, and I've gotten rejected by Noah, so.
I won't, because I think that makes more sense sometimes. Like I think I'm gonna start now that I've gotten Avery's at least approval and majority rules on the sport. I'm gonna start doing that. But I was a big fan of the Vince Staples album. It was, to Noah's point, it was like the perfect length. It's a quick listen.
It's so short. It's too short.
Vince Staples, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like he does a really good job of like when you know how his personality is, just if you've heard him on like podcasts, radio shows, he transfers that really well into his music. Mm-hmm. There was one song where I think he was just talking, or like maybe it was an interlude type of thing, but like anyway, it's a good listen. I encourage all you to check that out. And then me and Noah feel differently about the Jackie.
I do not like that song at all. Lil TJ was the best. First of all, I don't even want to hate. I just didn't like the song. It might grow on me.
A lot.
I just thought,
I won't say I liked it a lot, but I didn't think it was a bad song. I thought it was like, I saw what they were trying to do. It didn't sound too like, I was cool with the vocals. I didn't think Cole sounded like bad. Because is that Cole on the hook? I'm still kind of confused.
Stop playing with me.
I didn't think he sounded like bad. I thought it was like a fun song, you know?
No, it was fun.
In the middle, it was cool.
Maybe because I went into it with lower expectations. The first thing I saw about it, I didn't listen to it until I saw Noah's comment in the chat, and he was like, "This is whack," and I was like, "Let me check this out."
Honestly, the best part was Lil TJ. Lil TJ was the best part of the song. Honestly, I wasn't feeling that hook. Honestly, I was not feeling that. The music video looked fun and stuff. You know, they had the guys from RDC World 1,
Mark Phillips.
Yeah, all those guys though. Yeah,
is that his name?
Yeah, that's his real name. Yeah, that's his real name.
J. Cole and him doing the Jermaine
Cole.
Yeah, it took them 3 takes.
Yeah, they were all. Yeah. It was fun. But I don't know. I just wasn't feeling that song that much. But I don't know.
I feel this is J. Cole trying to find a sense of direction because I've realized. So y'all, I really don't want to talk about it, but I'm coming to terms with the fact that like, as more and more music comes out, and we only have 5 albums that make our top 5. I'm in a very, very tough spot with the fall off because
J. Cole not gonna make it.
No, the off season. Off season. Because here's the thing: the off season was a good album. I will continue saying that, but it was good because J. Cole's rapping was really, really good, right?
And there was nothing else out.
And like there was, not.
We're listening to Nnamdi come to terms with something here. Let's let him go.
No, come on, listen. It was good because the rapping was great. Like that's what the rapping on that album was great. But we'd already seen J. Cole rap well before, right? And like that was all he was really bringing to the table, like just really good bars. And like when you have other albums that have come out as of recent that are like good rapping, but like also much more on top of that,
something different. Exactly. Yo,
it's getting tough. It is getting tough.
It's getting tough.
I was just thinking about that.
There now. I'm just saying he's now number 5, and you know that number 5 really changed.
I was just thinking about that now because think about Vince Staples' last album, FM. It was so different. Like it was so different and so creative, like him doing like a radio station. And then he's doing this, which is like something totally different from that. You know what I'm saying? And then he had like Big Fish there even before that.
It's like versatility. Good rapping only gets you so far. I'm learning that.
Exactly.
And you know, to keep you engaged, you have to be creative. And I think with Tyler's album and Vince's latest album, and like,
it's really interesting.
There's more people. Like, there's people who are doing both, and like that's gotten tough. I don't remember what triggered that, but I just said that. I think that was just me saying I like the Vince Staples album.
Did anybody hear the Billie Eilish track? I didn't
even realize she was putting out a single.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
I like every single
clip
she's put out so far. The music video is really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, she did a music video too?
Yeah, and the album comes out in like 19 days now. So
on Instagram, I saw a clip from the music video. That's all I saw the song but it looked cool. It was like
they're like
the road and cars.
Yeah, and all these cars driving by. There's a really funny clip of her mom like watching it and like kind of getting freaked out because how close the cars are getting to her.
What's the vibe of the song? Like, what's it like? I haven't heard it yet.
She has like some auto-tune. I mean, it sounds like the dark kind of like pop that she's been doing.
Interesting. These singles have been interesting. I'm interested to hear the album because when the album drops, it's gonna be a crazy on Twitter. It's gonna be a carnival. You know what I'm saying?
This Post Malone song was good too. I know you guys probably didn't listen to it. But
I just come to terms.
No, wait, what was it? Did he lean into rap more or rock more?
No, it's still like trap, even though it's named after obviously like an old rock group. Motley Crue, and what's his name is in the music video, the guy from Motley Crue. Big Sean's in the music video.
Big Sean's in the music
there's
video.
all these rappers in the music video that don't rap, they're just there, and then the music video is like him.
I don't know if I like that. Why is Big Sean being a video vixen for Post Malone?
Who else is in it?
I'm just not a Post Malone fan.
I'm not $5 signs in it.
See, I'm not a Post Malone fan at all. I'm not a fan of his music. I'm not a fan of like the personality. I'm not like a fan of anything really. Like
I know what it was for me. I never forgot when Post Malone did that interview and he was like, I don't really care about. He said something to the tune of like, I can rap without having to care about rap, or like something that felt like that. Very Iggy Azalea-esque.
Yes, but I'm making money off rap though.
A culture.
I'm not a rapper, but he's making money off rap.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I love Post Malone though, and the song sounded
He's
really good. So
He's a sweet guy from like interviews apparently. Like he's not like out there crazy. Like he's a sweet
like a
guy
nice dude.
apparently.
Yo,
Yeah, he's a
keep
nice
on
dude.
talking. Keep on talking about a song. I have a guess. Keep on talking about music.
You didn't have to tell us that. Logic though, this Logic song was
I did not listen to it. How was it?
terrible.
Oh god. Wait, he hasn't released. I listened to the one last week. I didn't like it, so I didn't listen to the one this week.
No, this one was not good, bro. It was
It's a
basically on
word.
it's basically on like the same wave, like the rap he's doing. It's godly. It's crazy
This
because
is
I put
sad. I don't
it's so
like it.
crazy because I put Logic on the playlist and it was like an old song from like 2011. I'm like, bro, Logic, go back to this.
You can't come out of retirement and then drop bad music.
He's dropping you know what's so crazy? I thought he was coming out of retirement and he's just doing the little mixtape thing of like old songs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. Let him live. And he did one song of I'm Back. And he's over here dropping trash singles. Vaccine, seriously?
It was so bad. It was not good.
It was not good. And I get Logic is like trying to be positive, get up. Like, I get it. He's Logic. Kill him with kindness. That's his thing. But it
Like,
is
come on,
not,
man.
it is not good. So,
Dude, did
Yeah,
you
it
listen to this Tanashi song? She's been killing it. I was gonna.
it's good?
It's really good. She's been like, she had one came up before this called like Pasadena. Or something. I think it's called Pasadena. It was really good, and then this song's really good.
That's
Called
what's up. Tinashe, I respect Tinashe. I respect it.
She's underrated. She doesn't get the
Well, it's just when she came out, she had that song, Two On, and then like she kind of disappeared because people like to make fun of her. I don't know why. It's like people was like, people make fun of her just because she's not the most popular artist in the world. Like, oh my god, people.
What she's doing seems very like Doja Cat-esque with like just how like quality the pop music is.
Yeah, I agree. But who are we talking about that you just said that?
I'm talking about Tinashe.
Tinashe.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about how like
Maybe
people just kind of love to hit on Tinashe. You know what I
Why
didn't know?
is that?
I just said like, she came out with that song Two On, like the single like a while ago, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then like people
And that
just
was a
like to
hit.
make and then people just like to make fun of her. Like just like, oh Tinashe, Rihanna. It's like, okay, so nobody is. So like, can we leave her alone? Like if you don't like her music, don't like her, but there's like no reason just to hate on. She don't do nothing wrong. But
and then did we talk about this Whole Lot of Money remix?
I was just gonna talk about this guy. I did not know Bia did this song because I was like, yo, I heard this song.
I had
was like,
no clue. This
song's fire.
no, this is like, I put on my just to go to the bodega.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
And I did not
And
know that was Bia.
I like the remix too. I think it was a good. They were very good complimenting each other
Yeah,
on
they
that song.
did.
Bia's dope.
And,
Bia's
yeah,
dope.
Bia's dope.
Bia's dope. We need more
Yeah, I think
music.
he sounded good on the remix. The shit.
And it's kind of cool to see, I feel like one of the big Nicki Minaj slander pieces used to be that she doesn't work with female rappers, which was true for a long time. But I feel like that's changed a lot in recent years. So
Interesting because Bia's been out for like a minute, not like 10 years, but like she signed.
I've heard her name for a while.
Yeah, and she signed to Pharrell too, which is something that people forget. Like Pharrell got a whole label, but yeah, she signed to Pharrell, which is interesting. But yeah, interesting. Any other releases though? Bad Bunny, Avery? Any like
Yeah, the Bad Bunny song was good. It was pretty low key, but it was good.
That's actually a perfect transition between Bad Bunny and BTS's new song, which apparently broke some record for most YouTube views like ever.
Yeah, like,
I think one thing we can say is global music acts are able to find success in America now more than I think ever before, which has been really sort of fascinating to watch over the last few years. I'm not gonna lie to y'all listeners, I normally come prepared with like my reports and like, my facts and statistics ready. Don't have that this morning. But what I can say is I know for a fact that like before Despacito, it was like 30 or 40 years with like since all Spanish song charted in like the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. Before BTS, it was like, I think Gangnam Style was the last song that even charted anywhere on the Hot 100 that was from South Korea. And you have to remember, even that was just like a viral song. And now, Wizkid, I'm pretty sure Brown Skin Girl, I read that was like the first Nigerian song to chart on the Hot 100. So all this is very new. And we're in a time where now more than ever, artists from other places that aren't America can actually break into the American market and find like immense success. And I don't think any other act shows that like BTS, who has now become this like huge super group with like the fame and influence of Rihanna, Beyonce, and Drake, but just all over the world, which is insane.
You know what? I think, and we've mentioned this before on the podcast, I think Avery said it specifically of like, you know, just this United States becoming more worldwide. Like, you know, there's things like, for example,
Wait, Avery, sorry. Can you put on your waiting room? Sorry, no, go on.
For you know, in terms of like people is watching anime. You know, I'm just talking about in terms of worldwide thing. Like people like worldly things. Like people love anime. They love anime songs and stuff like that. And then, you know, people are loving you know, it's just thing. And, you know, people are listening to K-pop is like like I remember I worked with somebody who was like, yeah, I just listen to K-pop. I don't know what they're saying, but it's just a great way, you know, to just music to work to. It's kind of interesting of just like this country in particular is becoming more worldly. And, you know, I think that comes with, you know, the younger generation being more open to more cultures. I don't think it's just a coincidence of like, you know, things are popping just because they're popping. I think it's just,
I was gonna bring that up. Like younger, like Gen Z is way more open to like just listening to music that they might not understand, or just because it sounds good.
Exactly.
You know, like BuzzFeed even now has like a K-pop newsletter, and they have a whole like whole K-pop sections.
Yeah. So and now it's no coincidence. I just checked on YouTube. This video, Permission to Dance, has 105 million views.
Insane.
In 2 days. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I didn't even know there were that many people on YouTube.
Yeah,
that and can make that happen that quickly.
And maybe, and you know, the first song I think is the guy who did the Gangnam Style. That's the first like international song being like the biggest thing in like history. Remember that song?
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing.
We have a guest in the waiting room. Should I admit them or wait?
Oh, yeah. So we actually have a guest joining us for at least, we didn't really plan this out, but at least the first half of this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
And somebody to guide us. It is my wonderful younger sister. Her name is Nnamdi. Me and her both rock the 2 N's at the front of our name. It's the kind of swag you have to be born with. And I invited her on this episode for a very important reason. Very important. Because my younger sister is like a self-proclaimed like BTS stan. And not only that, she's Gen Z. She is the future of music. You know, her taste is going to guide sort of how other artists like release them. We're already seeing that with TikTok. We conform our standards to what the youth are doing, and she's like the perfect illustration of that. She's deep into fan culture with BTS, she listens to the music. And I was like, if there was ever a time for my sibling to come on, this is the episode that makes sense, because I needed a BTS stan to explain why she's a BTS stan. And she's going to do that for us. So,
she has 2 double N's in her name. I think she's cooler than you, Nnamdi.
Yeah, I think she's better than you, bro.
Why is your camera off? Sorry, this is me talking to her. I see her in this room. I see her in this.
See an orange square.
I see her muted. Hey, wait, okay, but this isn't a voice thing. This is an on-camera thing too.
I didn't know that.
I mean, if she wants to keep it off, it's fine.
Yeah, can I text you outside for a second?
We are audio. We are audio. You know, it's okay.
Okay, that's okay. Well, can you speak loudly so we can hear your little sister?
All right.
Please tell us your name, one fun fact, and what you do for a living.
Oh man.
Okay. Hi, I'm Nnamdi. I'm a senior and I'm a student. That's what I do for a living.
I thought she was gonna say I run the BTS stan account or something like that.
I really want her to say that too.
That's what I thought.
Well, here's a question that I know the answer to, so you can't lie. How many different BTS social accounts have you had at various points, like in total?
Wow, that's a personal question.
Yeah, it sounds a little personal.
I would say maybe 2. Yeah, just 2.
You have not had only 2, but I'm not going to expose you on this platform. But I know
you said because I love you. Because I love you and I care about you.
Okay, but I wanted to invite my sister on because I think, like I said, the whole point of this episode is how like Americans' music taste has become so much more globalized, and like the globalization of music, of US music, that may be the name of the episode. I've been brainstorming all week. But really, that's just it. It's like, it is easier now than ever for all of these different musical acts to like really sort of gain footing. So I want to start with BTS because right now BTS not only has the song of the summer, but they are arguably the most successful group we've seen the last like 2 or 3-ish
2
years.
Yeah.
I think they now have like, it was funny. I remember for the longest time, the story was, oh, BTS can't get to #1 because they don't have radio airplay support because radios only play music in English, right? Now the story's become less than a year later. BTS has, I think, like 4 #1 songs. Is that right, Nanda? 4?
Yes, you're right.
4 #1 songs. Their current #1 has been #1 for 6 weeks. Apparently, it's going to be like the pop song of the summer at least. I don't know what else is going to challenge that, but it's like.
Well, did they come up with a new song on Friday? So that could be it.
Which song is it? The Permission to Dance one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. So
it's really catchy too.
Is it? Do they? So are all the singles they've been releasing, and then has it been in English? Have they been forced to sort of conform to start releasing more English language music?
Actually, no. The last, their last Korean song also went #1 too, though.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that song?
It was called "Life Goes On," but it
that
really
wasn't in English.
No, it wasn't. But it didn't stay at #1 for as long as the others did, though.
That's really.
I was gonna ask, in your eyes, why is BTS so popular in America?
I would say maybe because they're different right now. Because you don't really see any other groups that, do what BTS do. Like they sing, dance, rap. So I would say because they're different too, which kind of makes them popular.
You know what's interesting about it too is like, although BTS is the most popular Korean, boy band, K-pop group, I feel like their success is kind of helping the whole genre as a whole. Because then we see it on the charts too. We see like, oh my gosh, who's Blackpink or something like that, and we were like, who's that? He's like, oh, K-pop band. You know what I'm saying?
And there was another like group that we saw too. I don't remember the name, but like a Super something. I think.
Yeah.
If we don't recognize a name on the chart, we pretty much just assume that it's going to be a K-pop group.
But it's kind of awesome though that like the success of BTS is just like a BTS thing, because then as a result, K-pop bands are just gaining success just based off of them, which I think is a good thing. They're not just growing their self, they're growing the genre as a whole, which I think is beneficial for everybody involved, all parties involved, which I think is the dope part about it, which is really interesting. And to get on BTS is like, I didn't they perform at the Grammys also? They performed at the Grammys. What's the Grammys?
They performed at the Grammys, I think VMAs.
They speak great. They speak great English also. I was like, wow, like, so if like my mom started like, oh, who's this Asian band from the Americas or something like that? I feel like that's just something my parents would say. I think that all has to do with it. But what I find interesting is like, as a result, all parties involved, every other group, everybody involved kind of is getting a little bit of the BTS success. They're not as big, but they're still gaining some success because we see it on the charts and other areas, which is interesting.
So my next question is, it feels like the BTS stans are like the most prominent stan group that we've ever had. At least on social media, like full force. Like they if you tweet something and you don't at anybody, they will find you.
Let's not say ever. They're walking.
I want to say ever just because of how visible they are on social media.
And then aren't they walking in the footsteps of the Barbs?
They are. No, absolutely.
I would. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But I would say their BTS fans are kind of bigger and more organized, to be honest.
Organized. That's a good word. They are so yeah. Okay, so my question is like, what makes these stans like so passionate about BTS and like want to like go full force on social media all the time?
I guess after seeing how hard they work and how and everything they've gone through, especially sometimes racism in America, and I think they just want to give back what they deserve to them, what they deserve. So yeah, so that encourages them to like work hard, stream, get their #1s on Billboard too.
What are some of the tactics y'all use? Like, do y'all do the streaming parties and all of those?
Actually,
tell me about all those.
Okay, before any song is coming out, like when they announce a new song coming out, we always have like a streaming chart and streaming goals. like there's a chart thingy, and then we have all the streaming goals for Spotify, YouTube, and stuff like that. Like YouTube, for example, our goal could be like 100 million views in 24 hours, because that's what we got last time. And then we also have goals for Spotify and Apple Music, so that also helps us stay organized. So yeah,
That's incredible.
How do you like keep track of the Spotify goals? Like, who is the person that has like the number of Spotify HQ that like is
well,
getting
there is this account called BTS charts data thingy. It has 1 million views on Twitter, so I think they're kind of like the one in charge of it. So yeah, it's like the account is like in charge of all the streaming goals and stuff like that. So yeah.
But you know, the reason why that's fascinating is because BTS's sort of cultural ascent has really been driven by their fans. Like, it hasn't been like they've been able to finagle some deal in the industry, because again, they didn't get that much radio support. Because of that, they weren't really invited to perform at award shows before this and last year. But it has just been driven by like the dedication of these fans. So like, you know, let me ask you about something similar. And y'all are also like a political group, basically, and some of the No, I'm serious. In the way they can like pick issues and like mobilize in force. Like, I remember during the election, there was that one thing that got really famous where, remember when Donald Trump did his one like big rally and like I think it was in Tulsa.
Oh yeah.
And no one showed, and like they were saying it's a sold out thing because they had so many like RSVPs, and it turned out like a whole bunch of BTS fans trolled them and like RSVP so that you had an empty stadium. And like, that's how you had Trump having to give that speech. But even beyond that, there was like the host thing a couple of weeks ago where I think you guys got a host fired for saying something offensive. So like, talk about all that.
Okay.
It's funny that she's like involved, like she's in the, she's a soldier for real. She's a soldier for real. She's a soldier for real. Yeah.
Okay. Well, about the host getting fired, I want to say it's the first time that's actually happened, because a bunch of people, you know, decide to be xenophobic or racist to them, you know. So the fans just like email what company they work for, and then they get fired and stuff like that, which is kind of funny. But yeah,
they will find you. They will find you.
They will.
I got
your number and address.
There's only one other fan group I could think of that, like, because I can't think of one, you know, fan of a particular group or like artist, you know, either one that mobilizes like, you know, that's all the way behind it, no matter what. They're like protective almost. Like, I get the Nicki Minaj thing, but you know, people, I feel like I will still hear people saying like, it's not my favorite one, it's not my favorite song, it's not my favorite album. The only, you know, fan group I can think of is like the Taylor Swift fans, maybe, of them like protecting Taylor Swift. That's like, they're pretty vicious
or
too.
like Beyonce's fans.
Yeah.
Beyonce, exactly.
The bees, though, the beehive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, beehive. But the thing is, like, the Taylor, like, in terms of like accomplishing stuff, because remember with the Taylor Swift stuff, we talked about, you know, them docking someone and everything like that. Like, that was out of, you know, crazy. And, you know, in terms of like accomplishing, and BTS has done the same thing. And I was just trying to think of other fan bases that have like mobilized in that way and organized like that, which is, you know, usually, you know, really rare, I would say. Because, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, this person has the best fans, but, you know, they're just like, you know, they're just popular. But
well, I think a lot of it is generational. Because like fan culture was really, really big in early 2010s too. A lot of people don't remember that. Like, that's when it was the Beliebers and like the Monsters and like the Barbs first like popped out. That's when it really just started. And I think that happened because that was driven by young people who were just getting on social media sites and you know, meeting other people who are also interested in music. And the reason that I think that fan culture grew to be less intense over the next 10 years is because the people who were driving those accounts grew up. Like, they were 12 when they made the account. By the end of the decade, they were 22. You're not still gonna be trolling people. So that's why I think the culture kind of like simmered a bit. And with BTS, I again think it's a generational thing. You just have a ton of young people this time all over the world. That's the real significance of it. It's not just US focused. It is everywhere. And they have the numbers, they know the power, they coordinate time zones, and like they do it. And it's just incredible to watch.
Do you feel like there's a boy band that runs the decade, like it was like BTS is for the 2020s, and then in like 2010s, I would say like One Direction, like worldwide.
Well, are you just saying boy band? Because I would honestly, if it was, is it just group or boy band?
Or group, whatever. It's
because I feel like we often forget Maroon 5 had a very successful 2010s.
That's what I was exactly. But were they One Direction craze?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to find out Maroon 5 outsold One Direction. Like that wouldn't be surprising at all.
Maroon 5 has some huge songs.
Does BTS like interact with the army?
Yeah, they do. Like they have on Twitter, and they also have their own apps which they personally use just for them and like their fans. So, yeah, they do.
Wait, what kind of apps?
There's one called Weverse, and there's also another one called V Live, where they like it's kind of like how you go on Instagram Live. But yeah, so they go live on the apps, and then people can comment and they can see,
Wow. So that's gonna be like a next stage of this too. Is just like that's what Maroon 5's not gonna have. They're not gonna be like super forward thinking to try and interact with people who like are fans directly, right? And that's like I think gonna be a staple of these next wave of artists that are trying to make it big. Because someone's gonna have to see what BTS is doing here and be like, okay, like I need to try and do that.
Yeah, I mean that's the advantage of being a new artist, because like all of these old artists, they're on social media, on these things, they didn't grow up with it. They're like had to kind of learn, learn on the fly. These artists and groups that are like growing up with social media and technology and whatnot, they're really savvy on how to use it and the best way to use it. It's like we don't know. We didn't take a class on, like we grew up, but we didn't take a class on like this is how you use Twitter, this is how you use Instagram. This is the best way to do things, but we just kind of know, and that's an advantage. It's kind of just like this this thing that's kind of built into you because you've grown up with social media, without even thinking about it, and it's become an advantage for the artists, who are that age, like a Billie Eilish. It's just like she'll do something random, and it's like, oh, people on social media like that now. It's like. It's just how it works, and BTS is part of that, obviously. So,
yeah,
it's really interesting.
I agree.
Will BTS have to go into the army in Korea?
Ooh.
Yeah, actually, but yes, yeah, they will.
That's coming soon, right?
Wow. Wait, time out. What's the age? What's the age thing for that?
It's soon. It's like
it's around. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to go there before you're 30. I think. Yeah.
How long is the service term?
Well, since BTS are like, really popular, there kind of like some rules that allows them to, make their time less shorter,
That's right.
Like normally it's 2 years, but I think the president of South Korea said something like about shortening their time there since they're, big.
Wow.
And they like vary in age, right? So could like some go and some stay for like.
Well, we kind of like, I think some of the fans actually prefer them to all go together. So that would be faster instead of them going separately. Well, because the oldest is like 28 and there's 7 of them. So if they each go separately, that would take a long time before, they all come back together.
Gotcha.
So just to like paint a picture of BTS's success, I'm looking at their Billboard chart profile. Their first like album, I guess, came out in 2013. Okay. Yeah. But on this thing, the Billboard 200, they have 13 albums that have charted. Out of that 13, 5 have gone to number 1 and 6 have gone to the top 10. And that was like the number ones were like over the last year or something, like year and a half. And then on the Hot 100, they have 21 songs, 7 have been top 10s, 4 have been number 1 hits. So I say that to say, like, when you look at their music just on a pie chart, a majority of them have been like very successful releases, which again is just really crazy because they are finding so much success in America. Is there any other South Korean act that you think could see this much success, or is BTS a one-off, or do you think this is the start of like a new era of music where like other South Korean groups will be more successful in America?
Well, I mean, I would say other groups from South Korea are kind of like getting big, but I wouldn't say they would ever get on like the BTS level, to be honest. Like Blackpink, they're big, but I don't think they're gonna be as big as BTS is right now, though. Well, maybe in the future,
You kind of have to chalk it up to the game. It's just like BTS is on top, and that's how it is. Blackpink. I feel like Blackpink is, but because BTS is who they are, they've kind of shined a light without even trying on other K-pop artists, which I think is great though. So
yeah, I would say they're opening kind of like opening a gate to make it easier for other K-pop groups. Yeah.
Pushing down doors, breaking down doors,
Yeah.
Kicking down doors, whatever the saying is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
And really quick, I think the point of this episode was supposed to be like to touch on a whole bunch of different artists, but the way our clock is looking, this is maybe like the globalization of US music BTS, and we'll come back for the rest. But no, while we have you, I do want to ask you, you're my Nigerian sis. You have a different perspective than me because you actually spent some years growing up in Nigeria, which is like really dope. So I want to ask you also about like, some of the Nigerian acts that have sort of blown up as of recent. And whether or not you think you're surprised by that. It's like WizKid is now kind of really well known in America. He's actually announced a North American tour, sold out half the dates already. The New York show sold out in literally less than a day, which is very frustrating. But
very personal.
Yeah, but as someone, for one, let's just start here. How long has WizKid been big? Like, just from your guess, how long? When's the first WizKid song you can think of this being huge?
Like huge in America or like
Nigeria, even anywhere with his first big song.
Well, what was the well, I can't really remember, but I would say WizKid has been like really big in Nigeria though. But until I came here in America, I wouldn't say he was that famous until maybe like 2 years or something, like here in America though. But in Nigeria, he's been really big.
For how long you think? At least, I mean, for most of your life, if we're being honest.
Yes.
Wow.
Maybe from 2015, 2013, like, that long.
Yeah, like 2011, like he's been around for a while, and he's only just popped up really big over the last 2 years. But a lot of Nigerian acts have sort of had American success. Like Davido at one point was signed to Kanye West's label. I don't know if that's still the case, but that happened years ago. But even just between Burna Boy, who like blew up in the UK first and is now finding success here, is just sort of reiterating this point that like there's so many other lanes for global acts to find success here. And my larger point of this segment is that it's all happening because America as a country is becoming more multicultural. It's like it's all in the same thing. The reason why it's easier for this music to blow up in America is because there's now an audience for this sort of music in America. Like there's a ton of African people in America who are more open to listening to WizKid's music. There is a ton of different people from various Asian countries here who are more open to seeing someone from the same region as them grow successful and supporting them and then putting their friends onto that music. It's just our interests have become just as diversified as the country itself. And I think that is beautiful.
It's that, and like we said earlier, like younger, like children of immigrants and having access to the internet and the world becoming more globalized as a whole, and just like that sort of younger, more open-mindedness doesn't just stretch to like social issues, it stretches to like aspects of our culture like music.
It's so great to see WizKid being popular, because I remember the first time I heard him was clearly Drake. That's the first time I heard of WizKid, and people were like, oh, somebody, and there were some people, to be fair, some people were like, yo, give WizKid his flowers. He's the one that made that song popular. Like he's globalizing, Drake and other things and other songs he's been on. So it's glad to see WizKid like getting his flowers on this side. Clearly worldwide, he hasn't been doing, hasn't been struggling at all. So
it's really interesting to me because I feel like for a long time, the problem with Americans is we're very, very self-indulgent, and we tend to think we're like the king of everything. And music is no different. The funniest thing is like a lot of artists are huge globally, and America is like the last market they'll break into. Like, I don't know, how big was BTS before, how many years were they huge around the country before they broke into America, around the world before they broke into America?
Not that big, to be honest. Like their first break was in 2017, the Billboard Music Award. But in South Korea, they were really big in some other countries, but in America, they weren't that big, to be honest.
And even like WizKid, there's a ton of these acts that have already been huge globally. And, when you finally see WizKid in America, Americans are like, oh, Drake put him on. And like, Drake did this. And it's like, no. Like,
that's just an ignorant statement.
That's like
Whiskey
how like
was
Despacito didn't blow up until like Justin Bieber got on it.
a perfect example. Like, oh, Justin Bieber put whose song
It
is
was
that?
Louis
J Balvin?
Fonsi and Daddy.
Oh, Lil Fonzie, and it's like, no, that's
Louis
not how that
Fonsi.
works.
I mean, Bad Bunny and J Balvin are just no different either. It's like those artists have been very like recently in the last couple of years, I would say, for me personally, in terms of like them gaining like mainstream success in the United States, has been, you know, they've launched to the top in terms of popularity. But in terms of like them being globally popular, Bad Bunny has sold more albums than like anybody the last like 3 years. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
He's huge.
He's huge.
He's like the world's Drake, and Drake is America's Drake.
Drake is
that's the
America's
difference.
Drake. Exactly. Good point. I like that. That's the goal right there, Nnamdi.
Yeah. Well, look, this was a fun little episode that we put together, and I kind of like this as a running topic, just maybe shouting out and highlighting various global acts when they're doing their thing in America, because I just think this is the direction the country's going. And then, is there any last minute things you'd like to say about this group that you love so much, BTS, and just music in general?
Well, it's not really.
What's the stand accounts? What's the
Yeah,
app?
plug your accounts.
And are you gonna retweet us when we post the episodes? The real question.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
please.
What's your
Avery,
message?
thirsty.
What's your message to the BTS fans that are listening to this right now because you reposted this on your account?
Go stream Permission to Dance, so we can get that #1, and hopefully next year we can get that Grammy too, because we lost to Lady Gaga this year. But oh well. So hopefully next year.
Nnamdi
Hey,
shots
she
her.
deserved it. She deserved it. Ain't no shot.
What-
Oh,
what-
for what? It was like best pop song, right?
Yeah, best pop group or something like that. But they lost to Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, and they're not even an actual group or anything. But I won't
Hey,
get
that's
into
fair. That is a fair critique because I was
Fair,
heated
fair.
when the BET Awards did that, so it's fair.
Fair.
Oh well.
Well, cool, little sister. Thank you so much for joining us. Send us your favorite BTS songs for our playlist this week.
All right.
And shout out to
Oh
you.
Lord,
Thank
you're
for
gonna get 30
coming on.
songs, Nnamdi.
She's gonna send me the album. She's gonna send me like 5 albums.
Exactly.
All right, sis. Thank you for coming on.
No problem. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hi.
Bye.
That was great.
That was so interesting.
We're back.
That was great.
I love stepping into the mind of a 17-year-old or 16-year-old.
Oh,
16-year-old.
Damn, Nnamdi.
Hey, when you have so many of them, you remember what
That's
you
fair.
can.
That's
Okay?
true.
That's
That's
fair.
true. That's true.
I'll give you that.
So let's zoom through the rest of the show. Billboard Hot 100. This is perfect timing. Butter is still the #1. That has not changed over the last 6 weeks. It probably won't change as we go on. I thought Ed Sheeran could do it, but he debuted at #5 with Bad Habits. I think he debuted at #1 in the UK. But again, the globalization music. I don't. There's something there. There's some kind of loose tie
Something.
there.
Some connection.
Rounding out the top 5 is Good For You, Kiss Me More, Levitating, and then Bad Habits.
We didn't even mention Dua Lipa. She's part of that international, even though she's.
She is, but I don't treat
I know.
the
I know. I
UK
got you.
artists the
She's
same
she's
because it's like,
she's a white woman. I get it. Like it's not
well,
the
not
same.
no, she's not white. Dua Lipa's I believe she's like mixed with. She's not. I'm not gonna guess, but I know she's not white.
She's white passing.
She's white passing, and then I think for me it's just the UK. I don't really count them because there's too much. The Beatles were in the '60s. Like there's too much precedent of UK acts being like the one other country we would.
She
like,
was
right
pretty
into
globally
America.
big before she broke out here, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel you, Nnamdi, though. It's like there's already a precedent of
It's not as like
UK.
significant to me as like groups of color. Honestly, is what it is, or
Fair.
artists.
Super. Absolutely, I agree.
And then over on the Billboard 200, Tyler, he got his
Hey.
I want to say second number 1, but I don't know if that's actually
It is
true.
the second #1.
Second number one.
one.
Yeah.
Call Me If You Get Lost, if you're the #1. I think it got like 190K units moved around there. It's funny because he trolled DJ Khaled with this. Do you remember when Igor debuted at #1 and Khaled went on Twitter? He's like, "Oh, I made good music, not no mysterious music." And Tyler tweets when this goes #1, he's like, "Hooray for my mysterious music." He said something like that. Still the troll. And then Doja Cat playing at her #2. So y'all see why I do those hits predictions. They be right. They be right.
All right. Doja Cat, killing it.
Oh, and then also I think I want to shout out Pop Smoke. I found out that his album is now was the best selling rap album of 2021.
Nice.
Really?
So this year alone, apparently it is the best selling. And I mean, it's 52 weeks now. It's stayed in the top 20, most of that in the top 10. Number 15 this week.
And we'll be getting another album soon. You know, we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
I'm rooting for him in the album. I'm rooting for him. And then the prediction this week is next week won't be too crazy. Sour will spend a third week at number 1. I forgot what else is there. I think it had Avery. Click on that link that hits double down, daily double down. Sour is apparently going to go back to number 1.
She's still killing it.
89K moved in its 7th week, and then Planet Her will sit at number 2. G Herbo will land on the chart at number 5. So that's what you have to look forward to tomorrow by the time this episode posts. So, project of the week, and I'm number 1. A Gangsta's Pain. This is still one of my favorite rap albums. It's filling the whole 21 Savage. Savage Mode 2 had that part of my heart last year. Moneybagg Yo has replaced it. This is a good album, and I just want to put more songs on the playlist, so that's why that's there.
No, nothing wrong with that, buddy. Yeah, guys, I'm back on the last couple weeks. I think I've had like R&B artists, I think, but I'm back on that grimy stuff.
Back on that 300 listeners a month on Spotify.
Wow.
Back on that underground.
Like, where do you be finding these acts?
It's so crazy because
this dude reaching out to them to get them on the pod.
This dude got like 3,000 followers on Instagram. We're just like, yo. But yeah, this dude, Fat Ray, he's out of Detroit. He got Danny Brown on the project, which is interesting. So that's not a small artist.
Sick.
That's not a
You
small
got him
artist.
on the podcast.
Danny Brown or Fat Ray?
Fat Ray.
Either honestly.
Yeah, he's just great, man. He says he's the best looking fat guy. That's what he says. That's the line he has on there. He has some great. The project is Fat Ray, Santa Barbara. That's the name of the album. Yeah, man. He has some great titles on it. He has a song called Ethan Hunt, which is a pretty great song. So, and then he has a song called Top Ramen, Jordan versus Bird. A lot of great
I don't know why Ethan Hunt feels like such a violent
Ethan
song.
Hunt, that's
it gives me John Wick vibes. So I'm not.
That's Tom Cruise and
yeah, Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
So I no, but
I feel like I was kind of right then.
No, he's
close.
No, he's a
He
very
doesn't kill people, but he be jumping off stuff.
no, but Fat Ray killed a couple people on this album. So
Oh. Wait, I have to go listen. Hold on.
No, it's really good though. It's really good. I enjoyed it. So yeah, check it out. If
So
you're
shoot
into
him
that.
that DM. Try to get him on the pod next week.
I might.
We'll clip you talking about his album. So like,
It's really good though. I really
my
like
DM is still Enjoy Oladokun, who made Into the. Oh, that was actually a new release we didn't talk about. She has a deluxe for In Defense of My Happiness.
Really?
And
Great
I've been
album.
in her DM. She's not responding, but we'll see what happens.
Great album.
Avery, The Turning Wheel. Tell us about it. Or no? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My project of the week is The Turning Wheel by Spelling with 3 L's.
Oh wow.
He's like
this
that.
was
Isn't
the-
typo.
So I will admit I only listened to this album because Anthony Fantano gave it a 10 out of 10, and it's only the 6th album I think that he's ever given a 10 out of 10. So I was like, I have to go see what it's about.
Is it 10 out of 10
Was it
material?
worthy of the hype?
Look, it's really good. Maybe not everything's my cup of tea because I think I'm not gonna be that mean. It sounds really good. It's really interesting. The sounds on it are like super cool. I don't think I've ever heard stuff like this on a pop album before, or on any album. It's really cool. It's a really cool experience. If you like have some nice headphones, you should like put them in. and
Nice
listen to this.
headphones.
Yeah,
Nice
you should put
headphones.
them in and
My
listen to
AirPods
this.
won't
No, yeah,
AirPods won't
like
do?
if you put them in and listen to this album, and it's really cool.
The Louis Vuitton pods. Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah.
Those headphones.
Nnamdi can wear his Gucci boots and listen to this album.
Why you
gotta put 'em out?
why you gotta put them out there, bro? Why you gotta do that to him?
But no, if you have like some good headphones, put them on, listen to this album, and it's like some really cool sounds that come out. So
I really want us to remember that one time you were like, we should do themed projects of the weeks, and we're like, oh, we're all gonna come with 90s and 90s acts. No, we did it.
Oh,
I want us to do, because I would have came with some
we should do
like
that. No,
underground
we can still do that.
artists to complete this trifecta.
I don't know. When I think underground, I just think rap. When I think
Yeah,
independent, I
because
think
when everything you've normalized underground culture for your music taste, so everything you listen to is underground. So because of that, it's not underground because it's just what you listen to.
true. Exactly. It's just what I
That's like a
listen to.
math equation right there.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And when Avery comes out with like a random alternative artist, I think of indie. I don't know. I don't know. It don't feel right. It feels something's up there.
What Noah is saying is on the 97 demo, whether you have 3,000 listeners or 3 million listeners, you have a fair chance of getting listened to on this podcast.
Absolutely. That is
believe in
true.
musical democracy.
That is true. I believe in musical democracy.
Oh, should that be our new tagline? We believe in musical democracy.
Yo, that's kind of fire. That's if we run. That's if Nnamdi runs for something. I don't know.
Running for office, what's your tagline? Musical democracy is just as important.
Dude, we don't care about that.
Dude, it's a war happening.
Exactly. Nobody cares.
But listen, the album should be free. Okay. So look, this was a nice efficient episode. Thank you guys for listening to us as we took you around the world for this episode of the 97 demo. That was kind of cliche, wasn't it? But,
Nah, that was good. I like that.
Well, we will see you next week. Yeah, thanks for listening.